Hello and welcome to Let Me Be Your Game Guide, a SÉANCE episode. These episodes feature games of the horror genre, so grab your salt and holy water as we voluntarily scare ourselves this week. I'm your host Emma, and with me are my co-hosts Rylan and Sean. Join us in this spoiler-filled discussion episode as we commune with the beyond and enter the gaming spirit world. For the remainder of this episode, let me be your game guide.
Bum, bum, bum.
Welcome back. Well, I guess if you didn't listen to the episode before this, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Yeah. Or it's good to be.
Yeah, well, this is our second episode talking about Evil Tonight. This was Sean's pick.
Spooky. Good pick.
Yeah, it was good.
Our last episode we spent doing a spoiler-free rating episode, so if you wanted to listen to that first, if you hadn't played the game, if you were interested, it's fun. You can listen to that episode, no spoilers, and then play the game and listen to this episode because we are going to spoil things. We're going to talk about the plot and the characters and all the goods. So, Evil Tonight, we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, but
just a little bit.
Yeah. It's a survival horror game. I would describe it as such. Mm-hmm. You play as Silvia, a medium extraordinaire with a sculpted body.
That's what she says. Yeah, sculpted tanned body.
Yes. Yeah. But she's sometimes a small or an extra small.
That's right.
She's not just a medium.
That's right. Yeah.
She's trying to cleanse this school, this performing arts school of some haunting.
Bad shit.
Yeah, but the game actually starts out, and I was a little confused because the intro is actually the end.
I was very confused. I was like, oh no, is this a sequel to a different game?
Yeah.
Felt very dumb.
Yeah, I was confused too.
Yeah, you're Silvia, you're with this group of kids, and I'll name off all of their names because they're great.
They all have names?
Yeah, they all have names.
Wow. Educational podcast.
So you play Silvia Bellini, but there's also Aldo Brandino.
That's Dino.
Dino.
Yeah,
Dino. Yeah.
Aldo Brandino Parisi, also known as Dino. Carlotta Carbone, also known as Carla. Giuseppe Pepe
Pepe.
Testa.
Yeah, I forgot about Pepe.
And Bianca Marchetti.
That was the one that I didn't remember.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't even know that
person.
person.
That Bianca had that many.
She could play the piano. I think that was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
She did.
Yeah. So that's about it. And then you also, so you're with this group of youths. You're, yeah, but they're like, I think they say they're like 14 years old, 13, 14.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
But you are approaching a woman named Graziella Monti.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all very nervous to talk about her or talk to her. And they're like, here's this diary. And she goes, and then you flash back.
Yeah, she's like, where'd you get this? And you're like, well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And then, so I was confused until then. And I was like, we're having a flashback moment. This is the end of the game. So you are flashed to a abandoned, decrepit theater arts school, performing arts school. And, it's pretty stormy out. It's spooky. It's dark.
It looks like it's been abandoned for like 100 years.
Yeah, and apparently it's only been 11.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, it's only been 11 years.
It got roughed up pretty bad, though.
Rome got sacked 11 times.
Yeah. Well, they're in Florence.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Anyways. So you end up finding the large essence that you need, and all of a sudden you do this like ritual.
Yeah, you get like teleported, but it's like in a weird way where you're like waving around, and then you get like
the listeners can't see what we're doing, but it's
Emma's
dance.
doing the ritual dance right now.
And then you're transported to another dimension where this place is nice. It's brand new
Is it?
ish.
Oh,
Comparatively.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
brand new for sure. And when you come in, it's like stormy, dark,
Yeah.
cloudy, thunderstormy.
So yeah, this if you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/letmebeyourgg, I have posted maps because this game takes place in a couple different buildings. The first is like a residence hall. The second is like the main hall with like the classes and the rooms. There's a back alley area, but all of these rooms, a lot of them are locked and you need specific keys to get into them. And I thought it would be too confusing for us to just be talking about these random rooms without having a frame of reference. So there are maps that you can access and follow along while we are talking. We'll make sure to let you know. They're broken into, the first one is the residence hall, and then the main hall is split into 5 different maps. So there's the main hall, which is where you enter, and then there's East Wing first floor, East Wing second floor, West Wing first floor, West Wing second floor. And those will all be labeled, but just so you have something to look at while we're talking. So you start in bedroom number 3 in the residence hall. And there's something on the ground too. It's these are your save points. So there's a couple of these throughout the map, but if you don't come back here and manually save, you're shit fuck out of luck.
you have to watch the opening cutscene again.
Yeah, they explain
Do you really?
it like
Oh,
Probably. Yeah, because you don't have a save file.
that's true.
yeah.
You're right.
They do explain it in the beginning though, like you have to save here. If you don't save here, there's no auto save. So yeah, you really have to make sure to save often or risk it.
Yeah. So then you're just out and about. So right off the bat, if you go into the room 2 right next to your save room, you will find your first diary page. And I'm thinking we just kind of talk about the diary pages as we come across them,
Yeah.
and this will slowly unravel the very interesting plot. The 2.5 rated plot. All right, diary page number 1. Today, surrounded by the crowds, I saw a girl performing a play. She could have been my age, but her show, it was beautiful. Memories came flooding back to me of my childhood and a traveling artist named Shining Mask. Her performances forever ingrained in my mind. They were mesmerizing. I even kept a poster from them as a memento. Oh, how I longed to study at the San Paulo de Rosa School. Oh yeah, that's where we are. With the performing girl, I wished to shine on stage beside her like Shining Mask. If I set my heart to it, I know I am capable. Such stupid foolishness. How could I possibly dare to dream such things? My family has no means, and as the eldest of my sisters, I have responsibilities. And besides, my simple street performances only ever earn alms of sympathy. I must abandon my childish dream. I must. And these are all signed Violetta, who I did not put on the character list.
We'll meet her.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, but Violetta, she is, you would assume maybe someone important to the story.
Yeah.
But so you explore this residence hall, and you guys have the map. Did you guys,
There's like a headless doll you encounter like really early, or like a headless mannequin, I think. There's a lot of headless things in this
there's
game.
mannequins everywhere. They're like little prop dummies.
Yeah.
They're creepy.
Yeah,
They're
there's
so creepy.
The headless one is in the hallway that's just to the east of that. If you go up, it's just like headless mannequin sitting there. And like there's another mannequin in one of the other areas that's like hanging from the rafter.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, whoa! And then you're like, oh, it's just a mannequin.
Yeah, I was
But
like, oh my god, is that a body? No,
That
it's a
sound
mannequin.
Yeah.
freaked me out too. We didn't talk about this in the last episode, but the creaking sound of that hanging dummy, it was like,
Horrible.
it was creepy.
Yeah.
Ugh. But there are a few rooms, actually very few rooms that you have access to in this
A lot
area.
of doors that you can't open yet.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of doors you can't open yet.
You need the key of cups, the key of clubs, the key of swords, and the key of coins.
And the kitchen key.
That's true. There's also the
Yeah.
kitchen key, but one room that you can enter is the bathroom. Do you
Yeah.
guys remember what you find in the bathroom?
There was a mannequin in there too, wasn't there?
Yeah. and-
Sitting on the toilet.
yeah, with a missing face.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. And then I think there was like some random stuff that you could get in there, but
And there's a jump scare.
What? Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, your first jump scare in the bathroom here. They pop out.
Yeah.
So you walk in and there's like an item you can see glinting in the corner. So you go up to that, cool. But then once you're over on that side of the room, through the window. Like the sound
oh
effects.
gosh, the window.
Through the window came some monsters. You've already fought some monsters by this point. There's like,
You have the.
The bats.
So I named.
what are they called?
I named them.
please.
The Cyclops bat.
Oh yeah, that's true. One-eyed bat.
Cyclops bat. And the.
Is that still the only enemy that you have at this point?
Well, if you've gone outside, you've also run into the mandrakes.
yeah.
Oh, the mandrakes. Yeah. There's
I don't actually think they scream.
Yeah.
They go or something like when they hatch or deburrow. Those
Yeah.
mandrakes, I thought they were so hard at first. I wish everything had 3 health like the mandrakes. did.
Yeah.
They were really fast.
They were really fast. It was really hard to get away from them.
I had
if
to
you
learn
needed
how to play the game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those are the first 2 enemies you're introduced to. The mandrakes, they pretend to be plants until you get too close, and then they pop out of the ground.
They make you paranoid the whole time you're outside. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, is that piece of grass a mandrake?
Yeah,
Is
because
that
they
piece
look.
of grass?
Yeah, they look all similar to the other pieces of grass. You just don't know until they pop
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Well,
And then they're fast. You got to be ready.
well, we can go outside because there is a puzzle outside. Real quick, we did pick up the crossbow. We picked up the crossbow in the bathroom
Really?
after getting scared.
When do you get the handgun?
Yeah, I thought the handgun was first.
You start with the handgun.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, you start with the handgun.
Oh,
You pick up 2 other guns.
yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have the knife and the handgun to start, and then you pick up the crossbow in the doll face.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, we've gone outside and we've fought some mandrakes, and now there's a puzzle.
There is. Yeah, the is this the orb one? Like
This is
You
the
gotta
shapes.
push
The shapes? Yeah.
Yeah.
which all match a diagram. So it's pretty simple. You just move some stuff around and then you get it right. It was pretty
Yeah.
easy. So
Yeah, and on the map where we're at right now, you enter or you exit south through the door that's in front of the 4 rooms. You'll see like a little arrow that says front courtyard.
Yeah,
is
the
where-
entrance courtyard.
entrance courtyard.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. I didn't do maps for the outside stuff because it's not. There's not a ton going on.
No, it's
outside.
just a little
yeah.
bit.
Yeah. But you can also get on your way out. There's a figurine, and you can collect these ballerina figurines. And there's one on like a shelf on your way out to that entrance courtyard, and then there's also one out in the entrance courtyard.
can I ask you guys how many? There's 20 in total
Mm-hmm.
figurines. How many figurines did you guys collect?
I got 19 and I was pissed.
Oh,
nice
no.
though, dude. I got 16. So that's pretty good.
I just got 15.
Oh, okay.
But on my
so
map,
close.
you guys don't have this version, but I have the whole cheat sheet.
Well, I will have the
So-
cheat sheet when you put it on the paid Patreon.
You
level, 'cause
will.
I
Yeah.
paid.
So, and I haven't even brought this up. We actually have one Patreon level. I don't know what they're called. A tier. We have a tier, and it's called Achievement Unlocked. It's just $1 a month, and that just goes to help us, I don't know, make up some money from the games that we're buying. And it just is nice to feel supported. So if you want to go there, I'm gonna post the cheat sheet version of my map, which has the location of all the figurines. It has the diary pages. It has some of my notes. I think it's worth $1.
I think so too. Also, don't feel pressured, anybody.
No, you don't
Yeah.
have to.
But if you want
We're
to support,
starving artists.
We're doing this for fun.
It is
Yeah.
for fun, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if you
so-
want to support the podcast, by all means,
Yeah,
pay $1.
there may or may not also be a bonus episode getting posted there called The Lobby because Sean was a little late today, so Rylan and I decided to record.
Colin, if you're listening, you need to pay the $1.
Yeah, you do get a shout out. So, but yeah, it was, I can't say super exciting, but we had a good time.
It was worth $1.
It was worth it. It's worth $1. So once you solve this puzzle, you get the residence key. If you look on the map, if you're following along, when you go back into the residence hall, you kind of head, I guess it would be southeast through the doors into the study hall. And then in that study hall is where the door that goes to the west courtyard and the east courtyard.
Is this where the knife girl is? The first
Yes.
knife girl?
So when you turn this corner, this is when you first meet Dino. And he's cornered by this knife girl.
Is that what you call them? What's your name?
I called them the knife maids.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they looked like maids to me.
They did. Yeah. They
Yeah.
were dressed like French or Italian maids, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these things sucked.
They did suck.
Because
Yeah.
they would like lunge at you super fast and slash you unless you hit them with like a bullet to keep them away.
Or the knife. Okay, so my only flex for this game is that I killed this first knife lady without taking damage on my first try. And I was like, sweet. After that, I used the gun every time because I hated them so much.
Yeah, they're by far like one of the worst enemies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But you run into Dino and he runs away into the little office off of the study hall. You kill this knife maid, and if you follow him in there, he'll basically tell you, because you're like, what the hell? What are you doing here?
Yeah, another like real human? What the heck?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're in the spirit world and they're not supposed to be there, but it sounds like he and his friends just met this random girl who was vacationing here, and she wanted to come here and explore. And it sounds like they may have been in the building when you did your little
Ritual dance?
yes, ritual dance.
yeah.
And and they were transported with you. So you're like, oh, shit, fuck, this is bad. Little kid.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she says.
Yeah, something along those lines. And she's all sassy, like, you need to stay here. And he runs away.
Yeah, he's like, I need to save my friends, and then he just runs off.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Dino's
well,
kind of a punk.
yeah, for sure. He's worried about his friends and all that. But yeah, she's like very fired up, and then also kind of realizing the consequences of what is happening, and that she's now worried about all these other kiddos that are in this space.
Yeah.
But I do love it. She's also kind of pissed. She's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
These idiots.
Yeah, she's not very kind to them. No,
No,
yeah,
I don't have a lot of patience.
yeah.
Well, in this office, you can find another figurine. You can actually find another figurine on the outside of the office where the little kind of table is. So you're up to 4 figurines at this point. And all the other doors are locked, so you can go ahead and leave south out of that door in the study hall. And you have access to the west courtyard and the east courtyard. And the west courtyard actually has another building that I didn't draw a map for, but it's just like I don't even know. It's like its own building outside, but
It's like a ballet room or something.
yeah, it has a bunch of
Yeah.
ballerina statues on the outside, which
Is another puzzle that you have to solve at some
yeah,
point.
I believe
That was
that
pretty straightforward.
I think
Yeah.
that door is locked with the key of coins.
Something like
I
that.
should
Yeah,
have written that down.
I
That's the one
believe
thing that I didn't
so.
write down.
That's fine.
But so you can't do a lot that way right now. But if you go east, oh, there's a figurine over there. My bad. But if you go east, you run into a lot more enemies. None of them new, just the mandrakes and the cyclops bats. And then you get to the like main hall. It's like this very large building. And this is where we start to go a little crazy map wise. So main hall map, this is your kind of hub of this building, I would say. It's
Yeah.
the center point. There's another save room in the office. There are some other places you can go. So where do you guys want to go first from this?
When I played through this, when I got here, I was like, oh, there's so many doorways off here. I went clockwise through this area, basically.
Okay. So, first floor, East Wing. Pop into that map. There are a couple doors, but they're locked. There's 3 that you cannot enter, but there is one that is unlocked.
It was horrible.
Did you do? Yeah. So this is a pretty big room for this floor. This is the dressing room. It's a L-shaped room. There's a figurine in here. But tell me about the enemies in this room.
3 knife ladies.
Yeah.
It was
sucks.
horrible. This was the first time in the game that I used my gun.
I used my gun quite a bit because they're easy to handle if they're at range, and you can just like shoot them a few times with your handgun, and you're pretty much good. You can also use your crossbow. Your crossbow shoots like 3 bolts at once, like straight forward and then at diagonal. And so, but if you get up really close to them, it shoots all 3 at once. So I used that when I was like in bad trouble.
I didn't use my other weapons for so long, but I used my handgun on these knife girls every time, starting in this room, because I was like, 3 of them? I tried like 5 times to do it with my knife, and it was like impossible.
Yeah, they're just so quick on that lunge, and once one gets on you, you get hit, and when you get hit, you get like a moment of like being invulnerable, like or immune to any damage, and so you can kind of run away for a second, but they're so fast, and so and they'll track you down. So yeah, you really have to be careful with them. So yeah, at range is best.
Yeah, and this room didn't have a lot of like room to move around or not be fighting more than one at a time.
Yeah, there was like a big table and like a bookshelf and a few other things, so it was kind of difficult to get around.
So then, yeah, once you...
Oh, I was just going to describe, there's like a bunch of, like, I don't know if they're like vanities. Think of like a theater room. If you've ever been to like a theater dressing room.
Yes.
With the big mirrors that have like the light bulbs around them. It's that style of just like a wall full of mirrors with spaces to sit in front. And there's like
3 rows of them.
As you walk in. And on there's a ton of different, like there's a ton of ammo and healing, but there's also a puzzle for this room. Does someone want to talk about the puzzle?
Yeah, it was basically like a bunch of, I want to say like scraps of papers that had numbers sequences written on them. And on each scrap of paper, one of the numbers was like bolded. So that was kind of obvious, like that's the clue here. Finally, there was like a locked box that you have to input each bolded number in like the order from the sheets. That's the combination to get in the locked box. I don't remember what you get.
You get the key of coins.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this was like, now I got to backtrack and go everywhere I've ever been.
Yep, for sure. That's exactly what I did too. I'm like, I remember all the doors that I hit, so now I got to go back and hit all those doors because what's new? So
I didn't remember where they were. I was like, I know there are some, so I went back everything.
Yeah, I had to do that almost every single time. I never remembered.
For sure.
But if I would have drawn these maps while I was playing, it would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah, actually, this would be a really great game to like map out as you go. There's no mini map or anything like that. And I feel like that adds to the tension also.
Yeah. But because for the sake of not making you switch from map to map as we're talking about this, we'll stay on this level because there are 2 key of coin rooms. So there's 2 of them. There is the prop storage room to the west of this wing, and then the small prop storage, which is the middle room right next to the stairs on the north side of this wing. So which one do you guys want to go into first?
I don't even remember the small prop storage.
Okay. So we'll pop in there because the only thing in there is the grappling hook. A lot of items. Yeah. So you just pick up a lot of random items, and unless you've been somewhere that you know you need, you're like, I guess I'm just going to use this later. So grappling hook was one of them. But that's all you get in that room, which leaves the other prop storage room. And in here, there's a figurine and a slide.
Yeah, which you don't really know what to do with just yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So we can go to the second floor east wing.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let's just pop over to the second floor east wing.
I think when you come up these stairs, that's the first time that I encountered the like phantom.
Oh,
What
I
do you
don't
call it?
remember. I called him the ghost.
Okay, the ghost. Like there's like an enemy who's like kind of invisible, but you can kind of see him when he's moving. And then when you attack him, he becomes visible. And he was kind of annoying because a couple times you just run in through an area and then boom, you get hit by him. And you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, he's hard to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're pretty slow though, so like
They're pretty easy once you see them.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can figure it out from there. I just knifed him a lot of the time because you didn't really need to do much else.
No, there were a
Yeah.
couple times in the game where like, okay, I'm fighting this thing, and then oh my god, there's that guy. I didn't even know he was there.
But
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But not a lot you can do up here right now. There is a figurine in the hallway in the main hall of this floor. But I guess the break room is just another save room. So you've found another save room. And then you can go into the art gallery if you want.
With those terrible ball head boys,
Ballhead boys.
balloon.
Are they the
gentlemen.
octopus? The
Yes.
octopus monsters?
Yeah.
Oh
Those
yeah.
are gross. You only have to hit them once, but then they explode.
Yeah, they shoot range attacks. This is like the first range attack that
Yeah.
comes at you. I don't like these guys. They're annoying.
Yeah, and when they explode, then they like explode out these balls in every direction. So you also get hit like a second time sometimes by that, and that sucks.
A lot of
Yeah.
times in the way the maps are with them too, it's challenging to dodge, like harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
Because his bullets aren't like huge, but I didn't fight them that often, not take damage, which is saying something for like something that has 1 health. Like you just shoot it and it's dead.
Yeah.
But this art gallery room, you actually can't do a lot in here because
Nope.
there's
Yeah.
nothing. There's nothing in there. It's
Not
a puzzle. It's a puzzle, but you see that there's a portrait missing from this long line of portraits, but that's about all you get in this room. But if you head down the hallway and you pass that first cups room all the way to the west, to the west, there is a doorway and you can unlock it from the inside, and that leads you back out into the main hall. So we're back in the main hall. Rylan, you said you went clockwise, which would put us at the first floor west wing.
So I think that I did not do that dressing room. Like I went in there, saw there were 3 ladies, and I was like, can't do this.
Oh, interesting.
Because I don't think I had that key. I didn't get the grappling hook for a little while later. So
okay.
the next place I went was actually outside,
Oh, okay.
the south of this main hall.
Yeah.
And there's not a ton out here. There's some more mandrakes. It's one of the bigger outdoor areas, but it's pretty small.
Literally nothing out
Yeah.
there. There is a figurine.
There is a figurine, but you do come across a bunch of glass on the ground next to the building. And if you look up there, there's a broken window. And there's something about like, oh, how could I get up there? And you need the grappling hook to get up there. And that's actually how you access the second floor, but we'll go there later.
Yeah.
I did then go to the first floor west side.
All right. So we'll pop over there. There's a lot going on over in this wing. Not a lot that you can do, but there's a lot going on. Also, don't hate on me for my map because it's not to scale. And some of these rooms I drew from memory, so they might be in the wrong shape. I
great
don't
map.
remember.
Yeah, it's good map.
I did my best. So, but we get into the west wing. Everything is locked. The dance hall has a controlled fire burning in front of it. Just
Yeah, just burning there. And there's also some invisible guys and some other stuff that are near
Yeah.
that space, which is making it difficult.
We also forgot to talk about the spinning dolls.
Did we get to the spinning dolls yet?
I ran into
You're
some
right.
spinning dolls
Yeah.
in that
on
other wing.
Yeah, the east wing. Yeah. They weren't
so-
that hard.
They weren't,
No.
but they scared me.
They're creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
for
like
sure.
spinning in a circle. Spinning.
Did you guys like with the fire? Did you guys touch the fire?
Yeah, I tried to get near it, and then I was like, no, not working.
I avoided it like for so long because I'm like, I'm not gonna have the item I need for this. I don't want to take damage, so I
Yeah.
didn't touch it or like go to it forever.
It didn't hurt you.
I was really paranoid.
Yeah.
I ran right into it. because I wasn't scared.
Rebel.
I was playing on casual. It's casual.
Just casually get burned by this fire.
Yeah.
But if you run all the way west, you'll notice that the stairs that are upstairs are broken and they've decrepit. They've fallen apart. So you can't go up to the second floor this way. And you go, aha, that's why I need to climb in that window. But really, before we leave this area, the only room you can go into is the meeting room, which is the northeast corner of this wing. But again, you really can't do a lot because it just has a projector in it.
Yeah, you put that
That's it.
slide.
You can
in
put
the
that
projector.
slide in there.
Yeah.
A cryptic, some shapes appear on the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like a bunch of lines and stuff. It's like gray lines on the screen, and that's kind of really all you get at first.
And
So
luckily, though, that's recorded in your notebook. Sylvia records that in her notebook, which she
yes.
doesn't use a ton. This is one of the things that she records. And I do like the menu in this game, how it is like your inventory is the menu.
Yeah.
So really, there's just like one screen kind of, and you can cycle through like your diary entries, how many healing items and ammo you have, and this like notebook that Sylvia keeps for notes.
Yeah.
She doesn't need a lot of notes, allegedly. I think she writes like 3
pages.
yeah,
whole
it's
game,
really
yeah.
not a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more thing, just before we continue on, you can also like move some objects to find hidden things. So that you'll see some like scratches on the ground, and you can move that object to find stuff. So just a heads up, if you're playing, let's say you can get a lot of extra ammo or healing things, or yeah, there's just a bunch of random stuff. So keep your eyes peeled while you're playing because it's kind of all over the place.
Yes. Something to look out for that I struggled. I struggled to see the scratch marks.
Oh, I was so looking everywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
there's gotta be an apple here somewhere. Like, I need more apples.
Me too.
Yeah. I was chill. I was chill about
Oh
that.
man,
so cash.
I was
Yeah.
hunting everywhere for him. Yeah.
I was like clicking or like pressing A on everything. I was like, oh, nothing to see here. Like a clue, my kingdom for a clue. There's so many of these little sayings that like,
Oh, my kingdom
yeah.
for a clue. Yeah.
it's like, this is just normal shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I need ammo. Damn
Yeah.
it.
But when you found something, oh, it was like the greatest feeling. You're
Christmas
like,
every time.
yes!
You need that.
Oh, for sure. Every bullet counts in this game, for sure. Every healing item counts. So
Not for me.
We're not the same.
yeah.
Other than that, this floor you can also use the door. You can use the door to the northwest, right next to the locked clubs door, and this sends you out to the west courtyard or the east courtyard. It was locked before you unlocked it from the inside, so now this is just kind of a quicker exit from this building to the residence hall. But we might as well jump back to the residence hall real quick just to do our key of coins. And oh yeah, there was one key of coins door, and it's the dining room. So if you look on the map for the residence hall, the dining room is to the north. It's right to the west of the bathroom where you found your crossbow. And in this room, you'll find, well, this is our second diary page, and another figurine. So let me just read that second diary page. Am I dreaming once more? Today, after one of my street performances, I was approached by a man who praised my acting and offered me to become his student at the San Paulo de Rosa school. It's impossible, and I told him so. How could I possibly pay the tuition? Yet he insisted and even offered me a scholarship. He must be crazy. But what am I saying? What if it's true? The man said his name was Arturo Sorrentino, and that he was performing arts professor at the academy. He said that his wife worked there as well as a nurse, and that he wished for me to meet her immediately. Could it all be true? Or is this but another of my fanciful dreams of unicorns and fairies? I cannot help but to hold back butterflies within me. Violetta. So, now we're finding that and you know what we didn't talk about? We've ran into Violetta. We ran into Violetta when we entered the East Wing first floor. And this is our first encounter. We figure out that Violetta is this haunted being that we're trying to
spooky woman.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she doesn't understand that she's dead. So that is when you realize, oh, these diary pages are definitely going to tell me like how she died and why she's here. So now we know she's made it to the school. Free ride. Full ride. Not free
Yeah.
ride. Full ride scholarship. But that is really all you can do with the key of coins. But we can go back to the west courtyard where the ballet statues are, where they were before, and use the key to get into that little separate building and solve that ballerina puzzle. There's also a figurine out there, but does someone want to talk about that the ballerina puzzle?
Yeah, so the ballerina puzzle, there's underneath each statue, there's 5 statues that are outside, and they're all doing different poses with, I believe, a star underneath each one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars between underneath each statue. And when you go into the ballerina room, you go to like this little area that's on the wall or something, and you have to arrange the figures in the way that the statues were ordered. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 based on their star. So once you do that, it unlocks.
Yeah.
Very straightforward.
Yeah, it's really
very,
simple.
very easy.
Yeah.
And you get the garden key for this. The garden key is located to the front, to like the northeast outside of the main hall. Yeah.
First of all, it's like, okay, I got so many places to go. Like, I don't need to go to the garden yet. I know where that is. I walked by it, but I don't need to go there yet.
I also waited a little bit to get there too.
And then when I did go, there was a strong thing in there. We can talk about this again later, but there's a strong thing in there. It does not recoil when you shoot it. Like most things, like, oh, you interrupted it. It does not. So I was like, okay, I'm never coming back here till I have to.
Yeah, I same thing. I experienced it. Like I waited a little bit. I also didn't have any of the keys yet, and so I'm like, I'm gonna hit every single room that I can, and then I got the key, and I'm gonna hit all those rooms.
Yep, same.
And so yeah, once I got the garden key, I was like, okay, I could use this, but I'm gonna wait a little bit. And I did. I went to the second floor and did some other things, but yeah, when you get to that garden area, it's a little intense. So
Yeah. Well, we'll pop back to the second floor west wing. We're going to use our grapple to get up there real quick. We're going to hit another diary page. So this is our third diary page. I'm actually going to read 2 diary pages because we walked past a diary page in the main hall. With that save room, the room on the other side, the waiting room, there's a diary page in there and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read 2. So diary page number 3 and 4. I've become a student at the San Paulo Rosa Academy. At times I pinch myself so that I know I'm not dreaming. But in many ways, I feel like a fish out of its native waters. My classmates all come from wealth, wearing beautiful dresses and jewelry, always looking so pretty, but they do not know what to make of me, forming huddles and gazing at me sideways as they cover their mouths with their hands and whisper words I cannot hear. I suppose it's understandable. After all, I have seemingly appeared out of nowhere and in the middle of the school year at that. There's also Graziella Monti, the girl whom I dreamt to act with one day. The girl I saw performing through the crowds. I've seen her up close now, seen her perform once again, but we have not yet spoken. She is the undisputed star of the academy and the most beautiful as well. I also met Patricio Conte. He introduced himself to me as Professor Arturo's assistant as well as the entire academy's. He was so friendly and helpful as well as handsome. But what frivolous, foolish thoughts do I think? I should be ashamed, for I must focus. All right, so we've got Graziella. Graziella. She's this lady that we see at the beginning and who we gave this diary.
Mm-hmm.
That lady.
She's important.
Yep.
She's important.
And then Patrizio. So diary page number 4. Some of the girls have begun to speak with me, asking about my street performances, but they all swiftly flee without a moment's thought or care for my feelings when they see Graziella appear. Graziella is always kind and caring to the other girls, but not with me. She's especially sweet and charming with Patrizio. Perhaps they have a special relationship. Oh, I must shake these thoughts from me. I must not dwell on them. I have come here to follow my dreams and become a great artist. I cannot disappoint Professor Arturo, who has placed all his trust on me. In spite of the fact that the director of the academy, Fabio Lombardo, does not like my presence. I cannot understand why, but perhaps Fabio Lombardo believes that the prestige of his academy is lessened because I am from a lower class and attending it. Even though I work just as hard or even more so than other students, from today I must strive to work twice as hard as before.
It's sad.
I know.
Yeah, really. I mean, she's kind of getting bullied the entire time, and like
Yeah.
just because she's from a lower class,
Yeah.
but still performing at
Or
the
is that
school.
just like
So
the perception of it?
I mean, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I
have a
don't
lot of
know.
confidence.
No,
No,
not yet.
not like Silvia.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But so in this art storage room, once you get to the second story, right on the other side of the diary page, you find a little square piece, and you can take this square piece back to the office in the residence hall and replace it's like a missing piece, and you will get the Key of Cups. So we got 2 keys now.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
And when you exit this door for the art room, art storage, you run into one of the kids. You run into, what's her name?
Is it Bianca?
No.
Carlotta.
Carlotta.
You run
yeah.
into Carlotta and also Violetta.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like a weird exchange. Like you're trying to get Violetta because she's dangerous, and Carlotta's like, no.
Yeah, you're like, Sylvia's like, she's the cause of all this. And Carlotta's like, that can't be.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
you're
then,
like
kind of gets in the way.
And I'm like, God damn these kids.
I know.
God damn
these
them.
little shits.
These kids. Yeah. So that happens. You're getting a little, you're like, how could that be? Oh, and then Carlotta runs down the stairs that you can't run down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What the heck?
Like, how come Sylvia can't do that with her sculpted body?
Actually, I went over there and tried to climb up them.
I did too.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not going to use some uncivilized way of climbing. I'm going to find a different way. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
I mean, the grappling hook. The grappling hook is a cooler way to travel.
For
so
sure.
I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like-
I was like, that little girl just climbs over that rubble and
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah. Well, now that we have the Key of Cups, we can go to even more rooms. Something I would like to point out that I loved about this game is when you had opened all of the doors for each key, the key disappeared
Yes.
from your inventory,
Yes.
which I thought was amazing. I was like, thank God. I
That
just
was
know.
So smart.
Wonderful. So before we leave the second floor west wing, pass by the dressmaking room to grab another slide. And then we'll go through the door to the main hall. We'll also unlock that door, so now we can freely do our thing.
And that slide spoiler doesn't help you any more than the first one did.
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, it
'cause
just adds a
there's
little
3.
bit more to each of the boxes. So, yeah.
But we're going to zoom over to the second floor east wing because in the library is our first boss battle.
Bum, bum, bum.
Because there's a Key of Swords just on like a little statue, and you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, but the statue is like evil looking.
It's like a mermaid.
Yeah, but it has like darkness coming off of it. I'm like, something's gonna happen here.
Yeah, that's
And then
what
I
I
went
thought
to
too.
save the game before I touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about this boss battle because you take the key and then you're transported into the first boss battle with Violetta. And
Yeah.
then I hated this. It was so dumb. I hated the way that this was laid out. There were spots where like there was no floor. It's a library, so it was like rows of like bookcases that you would get stuck in, and literally if Violetta was in front of you, you could not leave the row of bookcases without getting hit. Like you had to take damage.
Yeah, so what the mechanics of this fight were that she would create a barrier around herself that was impenetrable. But there'd be like 3 targets that are teleport somewhere into the room, or like you see flying away from her, so you kind of have an idea. and you have to damage those targets. They just have like 1 health. When all 3 are gone, she'll be like vulnerable for a little while, but she'll still be attacking you. So you really need to like be careful. Make sure, like you said, Emma, like you're being thoughtful about where you're moving and where she is, because you can get trapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, she teleports within that space. So, like, you can be running down a hall and then all of a sudden she's right next to you. And so it can really be trouble.
Yeah.
The nice thing about this is she does have a health bar. So, like nothing else in this game has a health bar, but like how close you are.
Mm-hmm.
But her attacks, like she gets more different types of attacks that are harder to dodge as the fight goes on, like at like 50% health or like 1/3 or whatever. I did this fight. I beat this fight like 6 times, but I was like, I need to not use that many healing items.
Oh.
So I kept going back till I got better at it. Because I'm a nerd. I don't know.
That's cool.
I'll be honest, the first like 2 times I did not realize the orb thing. And I'm like trying to shoot her and I'm like, what is going on? Like,
that happened to me too.
Yeah, I'm not damaging her. And then she just wiped me out because she has like a flame attack. About halfway through, she starts summoning like, I think it's books or something, like magical books that flow around the room that can damage you. And then she also throws orbs at you that are kind of like homing orbs. And so you have to run away from those as well. But yeah, once I got what you have to attack, the little energy balls, it was easier, but it still took me a little bit to get through.
Yeah. But once you do defeat her, you get the Key of Swords. And after this encounter, I believe you don't run into the kids again yet. You don't run into them yet.
I don't think for a little while.
Yeah, for a little while, yeah.
And I'm going to try and just buzz through. We're going to skip picking up items and stuff because I think it's just going to be too tedious to be like, we went here to pick up this and this and this.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's hard for me not to when I'm looking at the map, but really all that's important are that we're solving puzzles and killing bosses. There's a bunch of you have to go to this room to grab this, and then you take this to this other room, and that gives you this.
Yeah, I will say, like, we have not explored all of the map at this point in our discussion yet, but once you have, at that point in the game, like, it almost was tedious because I'm like, okay, I just need to go from this corner of the map to that corner of the map to that corner of the map with, like, the items that you need. Like, this thing where, like, oh, you need the grappling hook to go there, or you need this key to do that. Yeah. That continues throughout. And once you have the whole map explored, it felt a little tedious, especially because like monsters would respawn specifically because they know you're going over there. And so you can't really just like go. You still have to be like slow. And it did for me get a little less fun once the exploration was finished.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and there are 2 more boss fights that take place. Both of which are actually in the first floor West Wing. The second boss fight happens in the room that has fire. So you basically have to get a fire extinguisher and fill it. And that takes place, you go through the garden and to the back alley.
that garden guy, he was not killable, was
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. So once you open up the garden gate door, you take like 3 steps in, and then there's this giant like tree golem thing.
He was pretty cool, actually.
He was pretty cool, but he was very fast and very strong. And so he would just like charge you. And it took me a few tries, but you get some other weapons along the way. And at this point, you would probably have your shotgun.
Yeah.
And so I used that on him, and that seemed to work pretty well. But
I just avoided him. He wasn't hard to avoid once you got used to it.
Sure.
And then since you're in like a hedge maze, you just go around the corner, and then he's like, I don't know how to get to you now, which was nice.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah.
Well, I assumed he was unkillable, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
You did pick up your shotgun if you went upstairs in the West Wing. And it was in the workshop, a little room near the door to the main hall. And there's also a diary page in there. We'll go like further this story and read diary page number 5. What was I thinking? Today I suffered a muscle injury. Perhaps I pushed myself too much. Patrizio accompanied me to the infirmary. He's so kind and genuine, and one of the few people who actually talks freely with me. He does not judge me for my class, but sees me for who I am. The nurse, Eloisa Riva, is perhaps the kindest and most understanding person in the academy. It's clear to me now why Professor Arturo wished for us to meet. There is something about her that's so familiar and comforting, and her knowledge is so extensive, not only of medicine, but of performing arts also. I suppose, you know what? I don't need to read this whole damn thing. She likes the nurse, and Patrizio was nice to her. So she wants to practice more. And I'm just going to read diary page number 6 because we're about to go into the warehouse through the garden, and there's another diary page in there. So diary page number 6, I'm still in shock. After rehearsals for the principal production, they lined us all up to determine the roles of that each of us would play, and it's unheard of, but they gave me the leading role. This one, basically, she's just flabbergasted. She gets the lead and everyone's pissed. Everyone's like, what the hell? And Arturo, the professor guy, is like, whatevs, like, you're doing it. But Graziella
is ignoring her.
But also is like not complaining about her getting the lead role, which is surprising.
Yeah.
So you're
Graziella's like the fancy.
She's like the lead
star.
bitch.
Yeah.
And you also find out that she comes from a very rich family, and her family like funds
like her
the
dad
school.
is like the chairman or something.
Yeah. That might be later, but maybe I already said it.
Maybe I made that up too.
No, I know that that's a thing because I was thinking about it. So, but you go back, you fill your little canteen. Your fire extinguisher. And then you can get rid of that fire and then do your second boss, which happens in the dance hall. And this is a different version of Violetta. She's kind of, it's like in a... like
costume change.
Yeah.
She looks a little bit different.
I don't remember this boss a ton.
This boss...
Was this the mirror one where you had to like...
Yeah, so you find, I think it's Bianca, or is it Carletta?
Oh, yeah, Bianca's in a mirror.
Yeah, she's trapped in a mirror,
and
you're like trying to get her out, and then you're like looking around, and you're like, well, I don't know, and then all of a sudden you get transported into this space where it's like, it's surrounded by 4 walls, and you're on top of like water, it looks like.
Yeah.
But there's like certain like areas that are covered with a lamppost and like a square of cement. And then you go and you find her again, and then the boss battle starts.
Yeah.
And Violetta's like, she casts a bunch of mirrors up, and you have to hit the mirror that has a gold or
it's like a
ruby.
diamond.
Yeah.
And you have to hit that ruby to then hurt her.
Yeah.
So, but I found this one rather easy compared to the first one. I didn't even use any health potions, I think.
I think I was able to avoid, because she kind of dispels some like other enemies from her. And I was able to pretty easily avoid them and just hit the mirrors and run around. It got a little tedious after a while because there were so many enemies running around, but I was like, I can do it if I just keep attacking.
Yeah, I was using my like sword for most of this battle, and it was tedious as all hell.
Yeah.
So I was like, fine, like I'll switch to using a different weapon. And this is the first time I learned that the weapons actually deal different amounts of damage. Becomes really apparent on your like their health bar. So I was like, well, I'll just use the shotgun. That took care of her real fast.
The shotgun is OP in this game.
Yeah.
It is so good. So
yeah. But yeah,
very limited ammo though for it.
Very limited ammo, which makes sense. But I saved mine a lot of the time. Unless I absolutely needed it, I would pull that out. But otherwise, I wouldn't touch it because I needed that ammo for certain other things.
I saved it for bosses.
Yeah. For bosses.
Maybe one other thing.
Yeah, one other person. Yeah, one other thing. The vampires.
Oh,
with the bats.
Gosh.
Oh, I didn't get that. I was like, they're weird ladies puking bats.
I didn't understand. I didn't call them vampires either. The bat puking ladies is exactly what I called them. Yeah, those enemies sucked. You don't run into these until the very end of the game. These are the last enemy that you're introduced to, but they kind of look like the maid. But they vomit bats, so you have to like fight through these bats to get to the ladies.
Yeah, I'd get really close with the shotgun and I would shoot them because as they were spitting up the bats, it would kill all the bats and hit them at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I just shot them like twice and I think they were dead.
My
So,
strategy is
Yeah.
basically if they spewed bats, I loaded my game because I couldn't do anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I would just get close to them ASAP and then crossbow them at close range.
Oh.
Because you can interrupt their attack, which is nice, but if
Yeah.
you're not like, they have a lot of health. So I was like, I've got
Yep.
it close so I can do more.
Yeah. Well, and at this point, you've probably been introduced to all of the enemies, and we've skipped a couple. So there were slimes. You run into
yeah.
these at the
Easy.
warehouse.
Yeah.
Super easy.
The only thing is you could only hit them with, at least I noticed, you could only hit them with a knife.
You couldn't shoot them.
Oh.
You couldn't shoot them.
Yeah.
That was I never shot any enemy unless I felt like I had to, like after fighting them a couple times. So I
Yeah.
never tried on them. They were easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if I could or not. But
Yeah,
yeah, you
sure.
can't. So
We kind of forgot, but there's a mimic. So there
Yeah.
are fake
Oh, yeah.
chests that will come
Like
alive,
Jack in
and
the
they'll.
Box guys.
There's the
different guy.
there
Yeah.
are Jack in the Boxes. I hated those because
Yeah.
they would shoot like at you, and then they would, if you got far enough away, they would just have to hop at you, and you couldn't damage them with your gun until they were out of their little Jack in the Box.
I only use my knife on those, and if you hit them with the knife, they will like recoil a little bit. So you use that to like buy a little time, and you keep backing up.
Well, then there's the Jester, which was like a little disappearing, transporting guy.
I did not
He
like the
sucked.
gestures.
Yeah, he was annoying because he like throws projectiles at you, and sometimes you have to wait a long time for him to pop back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they just wouldn't reappear. I had
Yes,
times where I
had
was
that
like,
happen too.
is he coming back? No? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the flying fire lady.
I did not like those. Those were super annoying too.
They were so tedious.
Yeah, they took a lot of damage to kill. And they
Yeah.
also shot fire.
Yeah, they weren't very challenging for me. I used my knife on them, which just took forever. Like I was
Yeah.
way too. I wish I had shot more things. Goddamn.
Yeah.
There's only one time I used a gun on them. There's a room that had like two, and I think I was low on health items at the time, so I was like, I don't need to take any damage here. Like that's so silly. These are easy, but because there were two and they take so long to kill, I kept like getting hit. And I used my machine gun for the first time, and I just boom, 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 boom. Just took care of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Worth
was,
it.
There was two, like in the transition from the garden area to the back alley. And those two, I'd skip every time. I just run around and then go through the door. I'm not even going to fight these guys. Not worth it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and then the last one is the bomb geisha.
Oh yeah,
It was like this
yeah.
lady that threw bombs. She looked like a geisha to me. I
yeah,
don't
she
know.
did.
Yeah.
And I didn't find her to be too bad. She was easy to kill, but it was hard to get to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always wanted to knife her, but I always ended up just shooting her.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
hard to get close because the bombs would leave little trails of fire that
Yeah,
wouldn't go
so
away
annoying.
immediately.
Yeah.
Just want to knife everything.
Well, and she uses those bombs like pretty regularly. It's not like a long pause between them.
No,
Like she
it's
could just like constantly keep
continuous,
throwing
yeah.
them, and it's like
Yeah.
became difficult.
Yeah.
So,
So at this point, I think we've gone to every part of the house or the houses and the garden and the back alley. Did I miss? I think we went everywhere.
There's an area off the back alley where there's like a steam puzzle where you have to like turn
Yeah.
the wheels to activate the steam or to
that's how you
Turn off the
recharge
steam?
the fire extinguisher.
yeah. That steam kills you in one hit regardless of how much health you have.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
I
that.
accidentally touched it like 3 or 4 times and I was
Oh,
pissed every
no.
time.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There's a couple other puzzles in here too. There's like the fuse puzzle. You have to find a fuse to activate some to release some steam or to block some steam so you can get into a little area.
Yeah.
There's another one where you have to get some wires to
You have to like put certain like this was like the fuse puzzle
Yeah.
that you had to put certain numbers. You didn't know what number you wanted for each like column or row, but
Yeah.
depending, it's
You
like
kinda
a
had to figure that
grid.
out.
You were like trying to get the ampages right,
Yeah.
and there was like 25, 50, and 75 for each fuse, and you had to determine vertically and horizontally what the number was going to be, and so
Yeah.
you wouldn't know until it turned green, and it would tell you.
So the math had to math horizontally and vertically.
Yeah,
And it was
Sudoku, that thing.
Yeah. That was a challenging one kind of.
I think I just was hitting things until it was like ding
Yeah.
ding ding.
I definitely
Yeah.
like sat and tried to figure it out, but I was like, it's kind of like all their puzzles were easier than this.
Yeah, there were a couple that were like randomly very hard.
Actually, the puzzle that I had the most trouble with was the portrait puzzle, which is not a hard puzzle.
Oh,
that one took
yeah.
me a minute too, though. Yeah, because they don't tell you. But just for reference, when you get to the portrait puzzle, and you put the last portrait on, you have to figure out. There's a riddle that talks about from youngest to oldest, or something along those lines. And so you have to choose the portraits that are from youngest to oldest, depending on their age that they were alive. And so
because they all like died in their 30s.
Yeah, you have to do math.
So it's all like 32, 33, 34, 35 or something like that, 36, something like that. So
I was so stupid. I was having my partner, I was like trying to tell her like, this puzzle doesn't make any sense. She was doing something else, but I was like, all these pictures, they need to be put in order, but they're already in order.
yeah,
Like all the dates are already in order. They weren't. I just could not figure it out.
Oh, man.
Also, that clue that was like in the same room,
Yeah.
like 5 feet away. I didn't read that. I was like, what do you do?
yeah,
It was really easy.
Yeah.
that makes it difficult, man. Yeah,
Well,
Just playing on hard mode, you know.
yeah.
and for reference, the fuse box puzzle is in the power room in the back alley. The fire extinguisher with the steam puzzle is in the boiler room. The wire puzzle is in the maintenance room. And the portrait puzzle that we were just talking about is not in the back alley. That is back in the second story east wing
Yeah.
in that art gallery room that we were in earlier. So I'm trying to think. The slides, you eventually put the third slide in there, and that tells you like which buttons to push on like a lock box that you find later.
I think that is for the wire puzzle.
Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah, because that's kind of the last thing that you need to unlock, and it tells you, which buttons you need to press and which ones need to be not pressed to then stop the steam.
Yeah, and then there's a couple other just like little. Those are the big puzzles. Everything else is kind of like find this to get this.
Well, there's a puzzle where you have to like move let's like tune the radio or something. Where you have to like move the bar horizontally till it hits the line, and like different buttons move at a different amount. I got that like immediately on accident.
I did too.
Like as soon as I figured out what the puzzle did, I had solved it. So I was like, oh, okay.
I have no recollection of that.
I'm sure it took you 4 seconds.
I didn't either,
Yeah.
because when I was looking through the walkthrough and I was marking the maps, I was like, I don't remember that at all. And then I looked up like what it looked like, and it was because it took me I like hit 2 buttons and then I was done, and I was like, oh.
Like you don't even have time to figure out what the puzzle is before you've solved it.
Yeah. But if you go back to the first floor west wing in the main hall, or I guess main hall is kind of the hub in the big building, that is also where you can find the third boss, which you have Bianca play the piano for you. And then it takes you into third boss world. And this right here is when you've had an argument with the kids, and Carlotta's like, you can't, like, I think this is you figure out that it's her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
And you give her some tough love about how like this ghost needs to be destroyed because she's not fucking around.
Well, and you kind of like tell her like she's already dead. Like this has already happened. Like you need to come to reality check. Like you gotta like figure out this grief and let it go. Like or else we're all stuck here forever.
Yeah.
I
So
think this is also when I realized it was only 11 years ago that Violetta died.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you learn that it's her sister.
Yeah.
That died 11 years ago, and I was like, the hell? I thought this was like 100 years old.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you've also collected some diary pages, and I'll skim them. You don't need to hear me read the whole thing. Go play the game if you want to.
Do it. It's a good game.
Yeah,
if you haven't already. But really, what happens is she gets really upset. Oh wait, I think I skipped one. She gets embarrassed because she made a mistake at rehearsal. But
what a loser.
She figures out that the nurse is Shining Mask. So she was the performer that she saw when she was really little that like traveled to her town.
She's pretty inspired by that.
Yeah, she like
that
talked
was...
about the part that they were playing in that play, and like did it to perfection and was like in awe of her and stuff. So
yeah, and then she's being helped by Professor Arturo and Eloisa, and Patricio. They're starting to be like a little close, and she's like, I got a crush. But Graziella is like kind of jealous and starts paying her more attention. And then diary page number 9, they took her part away and gave it to Graziella because Graziella's dad was like, or no, not the dad. It was like the head of the Fabio Lombardo, the director of the academy, was like, no, we're not having this little peasant girl.
Fabio.
Yeah. Classic Fabio.
His famous hair and everything.
Yeah. So that was sad, but
I can't believe she's not rich.
But Patrizio comforts her, and they spend the night together, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's an employee.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's true.
that happens.
Yeah. There's no policy for that, I guess.
Enter boss.
11 years ago was a long time. Totally different world.
Yeah. But yeah, so enter boss battle number 3 that I don't really remember.
More like bop battle.
Oh yeah, this was the music one. Yeah, this
and
is the music one.
It was really fun. I don't know if you guys saw, but like the statues on the edge of the battle arena were like playing music.
Oh, I didn't see that.
They had
That's
like
cool.
violins and stuff. They were playing the music, which I thought was really fun. The fight itself wasn't that fun, but I liked the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like every 4 seconds she makes 4 clones of herself.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to figure out which one's the real one and destroy the clones. You're in like another space area, but you're on a big platform, and there's 4 statues. She does the 4 clones. She also puts down like some puddles of like, I don't know, ether or something that slow you down. And then towards the end, she does
Someone's ballerinas.
Yeah, she does some of the ballerinas. She does some like 3 main attacks, and one of them's like she gets a bunch of the orbs that the floating like octopus guys had, but they cover the whole screen, so you have to hide behind the statues, and they all move. Then she has like a laser beam that goes across the
Isn't
platform.
this the final boss you're talking about now?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Isn't
No,
this the
we're
final
on
boss?
boss battle number 3.
I thought this was boss battle number 3.
No. That's
No,
the
this
4th
is
one.
the music boss, and she splits like into the 4 parts. Like I think you're getting them combined.
Oh,
in your
maybe
head.
I'm combining them.
Yeah, they're different. That's different.
Oh.
Start the episode over.
Yeah.
So you're correct. They do. It's the little clones, and you have to kill the clones. Again, these little mini boss battles are very similar to one another. It's just like 3 different like escalating attacks, and then once you've hit her enough, she
Shotgun her a lot.
Yeah. She used that shotgun. It is game changer.
But after this boss battle, Dino has been like sucker punched. He's knocked out.
Yeah, I wrote down Dino got smacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was like the tough love for Carlotta to be like, she's dangerous. Mm-hmm. There's a lot at this point, still a lot of exploration, probably some solving of puzzles that we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm. A lot of back and forth through the mansion. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also like a keynote thing that the main character's name I forget.
Sylvia.
She also explains like there's 2 ways to get rid of these spirits. One of them is by destroying the spirit. The other one is by convincing the spirit that they're dead. And so this kind of happens at that 3rd boss battle, is that Carletta says like, hey, I'm your sister, like you've died. And before Violetta gets very upset by this, and she goes to hit Carletta, and that's when Dino's like, no, like jumps in the middle of it and gets hit. So
Good smack Dino.
Yeah, freaking Dino. So that's why he's hurt. So
yeah. So drama. Lots of drama. There's lots of figurines everywhere. Of course, in the beginning of this episode, when we were doing the exploration to get to each map, I was telling you where all of them were. But now that we've explored every map individually, you're gonna have to just go find your own figurines. or
they're all over the place.
Yeah, or you can join our Patreon and you'll be able to see my cheat sheet.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
My cheat sheet. I think it's
sweet.
right. I hope
I
it's
can
right.
find the 20th one that I didn't find. I'm so upset.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to see it.
I won't know which one it is, honestly.
So do you guys, is there anything else that we need to talk about before I just go over what the rest of the pages are? We talk about the final boss battle. I did that last time. Boss battle. And then dispute this ending.
Yeah, I think we're ready to cruise into the end.
Because
At
honestly,
this point, yeah, you really just get right to the end. Like after the
Yes.
third boss battle, there's like not much left that you can do. It's really just go to the boss.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think my first 4 hours of gameplay was until the first boss. And
Yeah.
the next 4 hours of gameplay were like the
you
next three
zoom.
bosses.
It's like
fast.
so fast. And diary page wise, there's 12 total. You spent your night with Patrizio and you have some nausea, dizziness, and abdominal pain.
Uh-oh.
Wah, wah.
So you're devastated. You don't know what to do. Patrizio's like, bye, I'm not dealing with this. And then apparently he goes to Graziella about his problem, quote unquote problem.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes to you, or she comes to Violetta. Sorry, that's not us. And she's like, I have a solution for your problem. And it's like a drink. It's a natural remedy for a headache. But if you drink a certain amount, just the right amount, it'll intervene with the quote unquote problem. And yeah, so you agree to do it. And the night you're going to do it, drink it, Graziella doesn't show up, but Patrizio shows up with it. And he has it. And in your diary entry, you say like, you're kind of like, you don't know if you should take it or not, but you're like, I'm going to take it. Like I have a dream. And then you ask Patrizio if he wants to stay. And he says no. But it looks like he wants to tell you something, but then he leaves. And then Violetta takes, I think I keep saying you, like I'm Violetta. But Violetta...
You're being possessed right now.
No! Violetta takes the potion, I guess, or the remedy, and then she dies.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously doesn't journal about that, but we know that's what happened. So enter final boss battle. This is in a back room next to the garden, almost like across the way from the main hall. It's like a theater.
Chapel?
It's all right.
Theater.
I thought
that
it was
makes
like
way more sense. There's like pews, but they're actually just rows of theater seats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is when you get like super boss battle. It's just a combination of all things boss.
So in this battle, it's a big platform that's in this it's like a floating dimension, and there's 4 statues, and you have to dodge a bunch of her attacks.
She spits lava at you.
Yeah, she spits lava at you. There's a couple other attacks where she has like energy balls that you got from like the squid, and she shoots those across the map as you damage her. She also has like a laser beam attack where she'll get on like one of the very edges of the map, and then she'll use this laser beam that goes across the map. So you have to hide behind the statues. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was she gets like super speed and tries to come after you.
Yeah.
And tries to engage you by attacking you physically.
Yeah,
so,
luckily the dodging in this game was pretty generous.
Yeah.
It did require stamina, but like you needed to be dodging in this.
Mm-hmm, definitely, yeah, because she could wreck you pretty quick, especially when she did that fast attack, because she was really quick. So you just had to kind of get out of the way, and then I died a number of times in this. Like I died the first like 3 times I tried to do it, and then I went for probably an hour and scoured the entire map for any scrap thing I could find, because going into that boss battle, I had 1 tonic and 1 apple.
Oh no.
And so I was like, oh no. I had almost full health, so I was doing okay. Like I was 2/3, 3/4 health. But and I had a decent amount of ammo, but I just didn't know how to do it, and I kept dying.
Did you not save before going into the boss battle?
I did save before I went to the boss battle.
Did you not get health back after you saved?
No.
Oh, I did.
What?
In casual, if you save, you got full health.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you get full health every time you save.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just realizing that probably wasn't the same for you guys the way
No.
you were talking.
There were times, so I was like reloading my save a lot because I was like, I don't need to take damage in that battle. There were times where I would die just because I forgot that I was low on health, like after saving it, and then I'd run to the room where I was fighting, and then I'd get hit and die again. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so stupid.
I did that a few times too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to get around something, and then I died. Oh, duh, of course. So yeah, I scoured for a little while to try to find anything else, and I couldn't find any other health potions or med kits or apples or anything. But I was happy that I got into the theater. I did find that one apple. So I had a tonic and an apple. And so I was like, yeah, but when I scoured, I just found more bullets, which was helpful. But yeah, in the end, it actually wasn't too bad once you got the hang of the mechanics of the boss battle.
No, I think it took me 3 tries to beat the final boss. I had 3 apples and 3 tonics, so I was in a much better spot. But
yeah,
like by that third time, I was like, oh, like I think I like her second half of her health. I think I did that on my first try, but I had so much ammo. Like I had like 191 machine gun ammo, 39 shotgun. That's all you need to use. Like,
yeah.
took care of her real fast.
I had so much machine gun ammo. That's all I used for this battle.
Oh wow!
Because I was on casual. I beat it on the first try.
Nice.
But it was very easy. And I also had like 12 apples, 3 med kits, 8 tonics.
Oh my god, the med kits. When I found a med kit, when I found a med kit, I was like, Emma, I got a med kit.
Yeah.
I was like, good job, dude.
But it actually wasn't too bad. The shotgun was key, at least for me, because when she was doing those energy orb attacks, I would hide behind like the statue that was nearest her, and as soon as it went by, I'd just pop out and shoot her as many times as I could, and then I'd pop back in, and that worked really well. So
yeah. Well, after you defeat her, there's a touching moment between her and Carlotta before she passes on. But we need to talk about the ending. I cannot go any longer without talking about this damn ending.
Okay.
yeah.
Before you get to what I think you're going to be talking about.
Oh my god. Fine.
I'm with you 100%, but I have to say this because I have to out myself as a big fat dummy.
Oh.
So when I finished the game, but even though we haven't talked about that part yet, it won't matter. I was like, I don't get it. Like, what was her problem? Like, what did she need medicine for? And I was trying to tell Emma, I was like, I didn't explain that much to her. And she's like, was she like having a baby? Like, was it an abortion? And I was like, oh my God, yes. So, it was really obvious.
Oh.
I just didn't realize when I was playing.
That's funny.
I'm a dummy.
Well, now you know.
Now I know.
Now you know. And now we can talk about this dang ending because this is a conspiracy. You go flash forward to where the game began. You're talking to Graziella.
You have mint ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And even your character, Silvia, is telling Carlotta, because Carlotta's like, Graziella killed my sister. She's like, no, you dummy. Think about it. And so it comes to the end, and they are basically saying that Patrizio is the one. Graziella is like, no, I concocted this, but I didn't give it to her. It was Patrizio. He must have done something.
Yeah, because Patrizio never stopped by my room that night.
To get the medicine.
The medicine. I made it, but he never stopped by.
Well, also, Graziella was saying, like, I was just in awe of her. Like, I didn't know how to talk to her because she was so amazing at theater.
Bullshit.
I was admired by her, and it's like, no
way, no flippin' way, because what does Patrizio have to gain from her dying?
Well,
nothing.
What are you talking about? Patrizio's having sex with a minor.
She's
just brush that off.
No.
I think he's a minor too, though. I don't think he's.
He was an employee at the academy.
But they were going to totally, like, if he would have just gone with the other plan, there's no way she was going to say anything because she didn't want to ruin her career. Like, the original plan would have worked out fine for him. I think Graziella wanted her dead, didn't tell, or told Patrizio and was like, we're actually going to kill her. And he was like, I guess. But that's why when he walked away, it looked like he wanted to say something because he knew that Graziella was trying to kill her. And now he's gone because Graziella had him taken care of by her rich dad, so no one could figure out why, and she could go on being little play lady.
That's interesting. I just trusted Silvia on this one because Silvia was like, isn't it obvious it wasn't Graziella, it was Patrizio? And I'm like, well, yeah, she's a badass babe. She knows what's up. However, there was a moment when they were like, well, if it wasn't Graziella, shouldn't we be looking for Patrizio? And they were like, oh no, he's probably dead by now. And I'm like,
that was, yeah,
what?
yeah, that was it.
Years.
There's like, oh yeah.
Was he 60? Was he like a 70-year-old man? Yeah. That would make it a lot more gross.
But they were just like, we don't need to go after him. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. And at the very end, it's all like, well, okay, see ya. And it's like, Silvia just leaves and that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting.
I freaking like this game a lot.
Such a fun game.
Yeah, it was a really fun one. I really enjoyed it.
I was looking up on the developer. I think this is the last game that they've published, and it came out in 2021, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I really hope they make like a sequel, like one that feels like a sequel to this. I think they had a game that looked similar, but it didn't seem like it was really like quite the same as this. I was like, I want them to make Evil Tonight too. Like, I would play the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
They really could run with this and do a lot of fun stuff with it.
It'd be so easy. Just another case that Sylvia's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this concludes our spoiler-filled discussion episode for Evil Tonight. Please join us next week for our spoiler-free review of... Rylan, you picked the game.
A Ranger.
A Ranger.
A role-puzzling adventure.
Cool. Followed by its spoiler-filled discussion episode the week after. Please go and give the podcast 5 stars and give us a follow. It's so exciting every time we get a new follower. We love it. We love to see it. And it's so much fun for us. So follow the podcast, give us 5 stars if you liked what you heard. You can email us with any comments, questions, or constructive criticism at letmebeyourgg@gmail.com. We're on Instagram as letmebeyourgg. Rylan, did you want to intervene?
I just want to say, yeah, I love looking at the map or the flags of who follows us from different countries.
That's my favorite.
If you are in Italy and this game is in Italy, so if you're in Italy, follow us, or if your VPN's in Italy, follow us. That's all.
Yeah, so much fun. You can find us on Instagram as letmebeyourgg. I've dropped the Patreon a few times, but patreon.com/letmebeyourgg. For free, you can see the map of this game, and for our $1 tier achievement unlocked tier, you can see my whole notated map. It's fine. It's not amazing or anything, but if you wanted to,
for someone who's new to the game, it would be very helpful.
That's cheating.
We also have a TikTok that we may or may not use at Let Me Be Your Game Guide. Thanks so much for listening. We can't wait to see you next week, and thank you so much for letting me be your game guide. GG, y'all.
GG.
GG. Bye-bye.
Whoa.
Trying to get 3 bells.
3 bells.
Is that Porcupine Tree?
The infamous porcupine tree, man.